So that was a great preamble, guys. Thanks a lot. Because if for somebody that's just listening to this, and I'm just barely past the introductory phase, because I have not tried psychedelics other than a very brief introduction with some microdosing of psilocybin that I ordered here a few months ago. Ryan was really the first individual that I ever talked to that had an experience. And I remember, Ryan, when you were telling me we were at the Veterans Center, I was so dialed into what you were saying because I couldn't believe what you were saying, but I knew you weren't lying to me. And I just had this profound, I had a
Yeah,
profound experience
I
based on
don't. Yeah,
your
yeah.
experience. Because I remember you saying, like, dude, I don't know how to explain this. And like, I'm not bullshitting, but this was wild. And that took me just down. I don't know if I went down a rabbit hole just yet, but it definitely piqued my interest. So we covered a lot of ground there. We covered things like ayahuasca. We covered the healing properties, the ceremonies, tobacco. Let's just start with, okay, why should veterans or individuals that have experienced trauma consider doing a psychedelic, I'm going to call it a psychedelic ceremony, but consider doing a ceremony in order to start, like, in my opinion, it's coming back down to neutral, coming back down to their natural state. And I'll throw that to you, Carlos. So what is it about it that ancestrally has been so important for the culture to ensure that individuals do these ceremonies? And then why are we starting to see it getting reintegrated into our society now?
Mhm. Thank you, Dave. So first, before I forget, I also wanted to let you know that at the end of Operation Purify, there's a 30-day live integration process where via Zoom we have weekly meetings to follow
Okay.
up to make sure, like Ryan was saying, that you're integrating not just the medicine but the lifestyle that it affords you, the opportunity to, like you said, to come back to center and to make sure that you're grounding well and that you're processing it well. And then we have a Telegram group that gets opened up. So there's a community that gets created as the program expands and more veterans go through the program, that Telegram group, that brotherhood group grows. And then we have plans for other future non-plant related gatherings. Just it's to create community.
Don't
Right.
forget our
I want to
the sisterhood too. Don't forget the sisters.
that right. That's why I was gonna. I didn't want to say. That's why I didn't use the word brotherhood
Yeah.
because it's a fraternity. It's a it's fraternal. It's
Yeah.
creating a family, right? Of people that have shared not just the experience of military, but the experience of healing from their trauma through plant medicine. So the question of why. Well, so there's a. I love it when people say science discovered. No, science caught up to a 5,000-year-old culture. So there's this term called neuroplasticity, which basically means the rewiring of the brain. And so when you have trauma, the wires in the brain change, or when you're trained to have a specific reaction, like like a combat kill kind of reaction, your brain gets wired for that, right? And then also, for example, we see, for example, veterans when they're removed from their tribe, right? When they're extracted from that bond that's created in the military, there's a break that typically happens. It's very common because there's an absence now of that because we are tribal, right? Humans are naturally pack animals, and so when you experience that beauty of having a unit and then you're taken away from it, so much of your purpose is robbed, and that creates so much pain in the brain and in the heart. You compound that with the pains that you've already experienced from childhood, adolescence, right? And you have basically what we have now, right? A huge deficit in the care for the mental health of our veterans. So ayahuasca literally rewires the brain. That's proven science. You can look it up on Dr. Google. So it's neural.
I
So
hear
it's
he's pretty good.
neuroplasticity. Yeah, yeah, knows everything. So on that aspect, right, on a very just basic level aspect, it's literally rewiring the brain with new neural links to produce a higher quality of thought. Okay, because thoughts really dictate everything, right? Everything is happening in our mind, right? The two people can experience the same event, and have completely different perceptions of it and receive it in a completely different way. Ayahuasca allows you to tune in mentally to the higher perceptions of an experience. So where things are seen as losses, now you can see what's the potential gain, what's the potential upside, how is this for me? Then there's the aspect of mind, body, soul, because this is a spiritual plant and it has an essence that has, as the culture says, it witnessed creation. So it knows the story of humanity. And so Yahe very specifically is a purgative. It purges the body of, as if you've heard of this book, Brian's a big fan of it, The Body Keeps the Score. There's trapped memories inside the body, like literally in your body, in your muscle, in your blood, in your bones. And the Yahe literally strips those negative memories out. It's like, so that your energy lines are full of gunk, right? These negative impacts. And the Yahe strips that out of the body. It rewires the mind. It literally rewires the pineal gland. And then for the spirit, when there's an absence of spirit, there's a disconnection from creation, from nature, as Ryan was saying. There's a disconnection between me and my God. You know, if there's a God, how could the world be so horrible? How could those things have happened to me? That's a very natural response. All that trauma is healed. So you have everything from my mommy issues being healed, my daddy issues being healed, my inner child being reconnecting to that child that is me inside. And so what happens is, especially veterans that have families, because of the impact of military service, there's a disconnect in their ability to reach out to their children, to hug their children, to express love to their spouses. And so ayahuasca changes all that. It rebirths that inner child where they find that joy again. And then they're able to express that joy towards themselves first and towards their family. So I would say, in short, Dave, the reason why you want to drink ayahuasca is to get better so you can live great. I make that the slogan.
T-shirt. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a great description.